Hello.
Hello.
I'm Nomy, and this is Max.
Hello.
And Max is holding a banjo. I'm wearing sunglasses. Um, we're having fun. And I wanted to have a conversation with Max because we're working on this song. It's a cover of a Bronski Beat song called "No More War," and thinking about what it means and what we're saying with it. And we've both been thinking a lot about what's going on in Arizona with SB 1070. That's what it's called. And just that kind of climate in this country around exclusion and othering and being so afraid of, I guess, being invaded or being. Anyway, I wanted to talk more about what that means and the connections between different things that we're interested in, and also kind of like what we can do about it.
Yeah, no more war. I feel like the war, when you think of war in its broadest sense, there are so many wars going on right now that we're part of, you know, on different sides. But, you know, the war on our bodies, the war on people who don't fit whatever it is group we're talking about, you know, and there really are wars, you know. The immigration bill is just one representation of that war. The war to keep out. Who are we keeping out exactly? I'm not even sure. You know,
Yeah.
it's like in
well,
this case,
indigenous people too. That's the
Yeah,
crazy
right.
thing. It's like, no, don't come into our country, even though
we stole it from
we
you.
stole it from you.
Right.
You're indigenous. We're not.
Yeah.
It
I feel like nobody's even saying that really. That piece.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels really weird.
I know somebody on Facebook wrote something like, well, in Europe we have to show our papers all the time, and you know, why don't you ask a Native American person if they think there's too many immigrants or something? And I was like, yeah, but the people who this is about are indigenous, and they're being forced to recognize a border that they didn't create, and we're the immigrants. I mean, white people, well, actually everybody except indigenous people are the immigrants, which is okay. It's just, let's call it what it is. And it makes me think also about Palestine, because I'm Jewish and, you know, grew up with a connection to Israel and learning about the Holocaust and not really learning about what happened to Palestinian people in Israel. And I don't know, just the whole thing of like us and them and pain being different from each other is like, well, their pain doesn't matter because our pain was so great or something like that. And I just don't really understand not being able to see it as the same thing or the same cycle.
Well, it's like we're always cutting ourselves off from somebody. You know, we are cutting off whatever we think of as the other, and you know, ultimately cutting off from parts of ourselves. You know, so it's always about making an enemy, separating. Imagine us as separate entities and separate communities when really we are one human family. You know, one Earth family. Well, you know, whatever.
Right.
Not acknowledging that we are connected.
Yeah.
You know, pretending we're not connected somehow, and that we can actually keep out some part. You know, it's like trying to, you know, chop off some piece of yourself and say, oh, that's not mine anymore. You know, like it doesn't really work like that, but we pretend that it does, and so we're in this constant state of war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work.
Right. Right.
You know, you can stick someone over there, put them in a camp.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
I feel so sad about it. I mean, it's like I don't really know. This is kind of the struggle, like where I'm at right now, around how to feel what I actually feel about what goes on in the world, and then have that mean something or become something or move somewhere. I just feel like I've had to. I think I was saying earlier about like the Bush years. I feel like I just had to let go of my investment in changing the world in a bigger systemic way and just go inside and go into like the minutia of my own reality, which in a lot of ways I do think is the answer. But I do think I've also like really silenced myself or allowed myself to be silenced because I felt scared, you know. I felt that anything, the ways that I had learned how to talk about politics would have gotten me shut up really fast, and I didn't actually have enough of my own groundedness in my life to be able to handle handle it. And I don't know, but I feel so much, and I feel like this song, like working on this song is part of me. Like I want to channel my real feelings into it and be able to really feel what I feel about it, which is like actually just a lot of sadness. Like I don't know if I can really access the anger before I feel the sadness, because there are just so many people that are being endangered all the time. I mean, by this bill and by, you know, apartheid in Israel, and, you know, those are the two specific things that I'm thinking about right now. But I'm just like, God, people who have been through so fucking much and who are just like trying to have their lives. Like we have lives, right? We have our lives that we have created to be our own in these certain ways, and like we deal with oppression, we deal with, you know, structures that kind of hold us in specific places, but we have so many more options than so many people, and everybody fucking deserves those options to like have your family, to like have your home, to be able to like garden and make food and be in love. And I just don't, yeah.
I think we have a big cultural story about how it's everyone's own responsibility. It's like we're ignoring privilege, basically, and if we have it, we can't see it unless we ever had a period of not having it, right? Right, so we can't see the privilege, and so we have this story of everyone being to blame for their own circumstances, right? You know, if you get up by your bootstraps, you know, or whatever, the rags to riches, it's your responsibility to sort of become what I am,
Right.
you know?
And don't they think that people are fucking working hard? I mean, that's the thing, is like, everybody's working hard.